Southwest Vermont Supervisor Union Board of Directors meeting to order. Special meeting on Thursday, December 20th at 5 p.m. for the agenda. And it's public comments, finance, operations related, treasurer report for November, consent agenda, minutes, retirements, leave of absence, resignation position, proposal and nomination, policies enclosed. 5016 and 7192, superintendent report, chair's report, and then we have information. The SVSU student enrollment is in with the packets.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nothing to amend, right?
No.
Okay, finance operation related, treasurer report.
So moved.
Second.
Anything, any discussion or anything? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Consent agenda,
So moved.
Second.
okay, any discussion, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Policies, 5016, proficiency-based graduation requirements is to be warned.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? None heard. All those in favor of the warning say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nays? Ayes have it. 7192, correspondence to the board. This is to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstentions, nays? So carried. Superintendent report.
Really, my work, it seems the past 2 weeks has really been on the Southwest Vermont Union Elementary School District planning. We have warned a meeting for January 15th at the middle school. I did send an email out directly to the 4 boards involved on that. That meeting that night is known as the organizational meeting. It's the Secretary of State will come down, or their designee. I think it's going to be their designee will come, open that meeting. There'll be a call for nominations from the floor for treasurer, moderator, and clerk. Thank you. And those aren't of the board; those are of the district treasurer. And the designee will also swear in the transitional board members, which are the clerk and chair from the four elementary boards. And they have, it's all on the warning, what other business they have to do that night, set a budget, a few other items on there, but it is the organizational meeting. We hope to warn immediately after that the initial meeting of that initial board, which is what the 8 members are called, and they have a very tight timeline if they want to amend the Articles of Agreement. That vote would have to take place by the 28th of December by statute, so that's February. Did I say January? February 28th? Well, that really would be tight, huh?
Yeah.
So February 28th, which is a Thursday, so in practical sense, if you wanted to stay with a Tuesday, it'd be the 26th, which means you would have to warn that by January 26th. Remember, the transitional meeting is the 15th. Those amendments can be, those articles of agreement can be amended by the full board later on. So if we miss this deadline, it doesn't mean that you can ever revisit it again. But that's going to be up to that transitional board what action they want to do. And they also will be receiving a combined budget from the finance department of the 4 elementary boards that begin work on getting a budget ready. If the transitional board decides that they want to form an advisory committee to advise then to that board that they want to amend the agreement, and the word we got today, we have the ability to form an advisory committee now, made up of members from all 4 boards, so that they could make an advisory to the transitional board that night on what they want to do with that. It would give a little time to the process. The options would be to accept the draft articles of agreement from the state the way they are now, and then you can move forward with setting your budget and warning a vote to, and then hopefully like by March meeting, town meeting, do that to elect the initial board members. I will be sending out the grid that we received from the Agency of Education on the staggered terms of the initial board members, so that, you know, we're not electing everybody to a 3-year term in March or whenever we do hold this election. It will be, some will have 1-year terms, some will get 2-year terms, and some will get 3-year terms, so that then they expire at different years. And if the board, my understanding is if this transitional board votes that they want to amend the Articles of Agreement, and that vote gets warned by, you know, the 26th or 28th of January, and then voted on by the 28th of February, that's going to push a budget vote for the new Southwest Vermont Union Elementary School District to late April or early May. So at town meeting in March, they'll be voting on an MAU budget, but not voting on any elementary budgets. And they'll be voting on MAU reps. They'll be voting on the reps for the existing elementary boards, so that whose terms are expiring, because those terms will need to be filled till June 30th, because there will be work that the existing elementary boards have to do. So it's going to get a little busy, and I'm not. We are planning. We picked the middle school cafeteria because the middle school is kind of a neutral school. I didn't want to hold this in the school that belonged to just any one town. All 4 of these elementary boards, or all 4 of these towns, have ownership in the Mount Anthony Union Middle School. So, and the cafeteria should be big enough. We really don't know what type of. We're going to set up for a large crowd and hope that we get it, because we will need to nominate, as I said, treasurer, moderator, and clerk from the floor, and a few other business items like, going forward to, and whoever gets elected that night on the floor, it's a 1-year term, and then the process to replace them will be similar to how boards are doing it now. We will had a planning session today with some staff members. Once we get back from the holiday, we will be promoting that meeting through advertisement placements on all our social media platforms to try to encourage people to attend. And that's where we are right now.
Jim, just a housekeeping question. You're looking at the entire board for Woodford right now, as we lost a person. How does that affect how we go forward with warning our meetings? I mean, this organizational meeting will be a Woodford board meeting.
Right.
So we have to warn it as a Woodford meeting while you're warning it as an organizational meeting?
I posed that question, and I don't have an answer here this night. I did ask, because it came up at your Woodford meeting, does that constitute a quorum of your board there that night? And I mean, my gut tells me yes, but because I don't know if there isn't, if I look at the law, or any meeting of a board member that's more of a quorum, then that could be a meeting. But I don't have an answer yet from our attorney or from the agency.
Is it something we could go ahead and warn anyway, or is there a violation?
That would be our fallback. Yeah.
Haven't been cited before because of such things. If both of you are going, and if you're gonna take an action there, which they're asking you to do, you need to warn it.
Yeah.
Because you'll be a quorum and take an action. If you were just there as guests and not gonna take any actions, you're
Yeah.
fine. But if you 2 members will be part of that board, take an action, I'd warn it.
So I emailed Karen and she will put out a warning
Yeah.
for Woodford.
I also should say that we are still addressing with the state the makeup of this board, the supervisory union board. One with Arlington coming on and bringing 3 members with it, and secondly, what happens to make up this board when the 4 elementary board districts aren't here anymore. So I would assume that the new entity, the Southwest Vermont Union Elementary School District, would be assigned 3 members to the SU, because why Arlington was given 3 rather than the 2 that we all have is the law only allows a 3-1 option, 3 members to an SU for an operating school district, 1 member to the SU board for a non-operating. Arlington was operating, even though we sent all our paperwork for that in February 2013, the state board did amend and allow 2 and 1 alternate. That amendment that they voted on in February 2013, that the state board only applied to the districts that were part of the SU at that time. So that waiver doesn't apply to Arlington, and it would not apply to this new entity. So it'll probably have to be a waiver application again to the state board, or because, and I don't have any of this, I'm just working through this, so I don't have anything definite, but it would appear to me that if we don't, Arlington keeps 3, Sandgate has 1 when they do come on. The new entity would have 3. North Bennington would have 1, and Mount Anthony would only have 2, because the waiver is still in effect for them. So it may be, what we may end up doing in the end is asking them that they dissolve that waiver, and then everyone would have 3, which would bring a board of 11, which is kind of where we are right now.
That makes sense, because you want to have an odd number, ideally, and the reason for having 2 rather than 3, I think historically, for requesting that waiver was the smaller boards, Woodford, for example, couldn't get 3 people to attend,
Right.
and Mount Anthony, with an 11-member board, shouldn't have that trouble.
Yeah. Yes, in all the paperwork that we sent to the state, it was exactly what you said. From our archives, our records, was that application for the waiver was because of an inability to get a quorum when it was 18.
That wasn't just Woodford, though. That was impeding quorums.
Yes.
Can I make a recommendation? If anybody wants to run for the board, get your paperwork ready. Because it's gonna take a while, and we don't know yet whether it's gonna be 5% of the town or 5% of the district. So get your paperwork ready.
And we don't know whether that election is going to be March or May.
Right, but if you start now, you're not gonna be too late. If you wait until they decide, you'll never get your paperwork done.
So we'll keep sending you information as we get it. So. That's all.
Is that all the good news you have?
Well, you got the full report last night. So.
Well, it's clear out there that the governor has made some statements about mergers that he didn't think that the Board of Education should have had the authority to do what they're doing. And there is some talk in the legislature among some members that are concerned with the way the merger's going too. So I just think I'd bring that up because we're talking about the merger, because I'm not sure what the state's gonna do about this because of the noise. You've been hearing the noise too, I'm sure, up there, Dave, and it's just, it really happens. There's like 30 towns that are entering into some sort of lawsuit. There's another group that's hired a lawyer and doing something. So as much as we like to say that we've got our act together and moving forward, I'm not sure where things are gonna end up. And that's where I'm at with the.
I never said we had our act together, but we're moving forward.
I guess that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
All right, and other than that, that's all I have to report. Other than I'm in the process of trying to arrange my time around. I am resigning from some boards, and I'm not sure yet if this will be one of them or not. But I certainly need to get off some boards. So just so you're forewarned in case in the next couple of weeks, once I learn what I really have to do, travel and otherwise, I'll be making my decision. Okay, that's my report. And moving on. What was the next? Did we say we were going right into the other
Yes.
budget? We were trying to think of how we warned it.
Yep.
Yep, immediately following.
All right, so we will,
Need a motion to move into
I need a motion to adjourn this meeting and we'll go into the budget meeting.
So moved.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we will move into the budget meeting. I'll give people some.